when you're done, just
Okay. So I've got here on this Zoom call, Mark Fox. Mark Fox, I met Mark maybe 2 months ago or so after seeing one of many ads on Facebook, and out of curiosity, because I love gadgets, and so I decided to check this out. And I had actually had probably 5 or 6 people send me emails about this product, but I didn't want to look at it because I didn't want another gadget. I didn't want to be involved in a company. But I ran across this, and when I saw that it was not network marketing or MLM, and it was based on affiliate, that meant to me, oh, I've got something here that's not overpriced to begin with. And so this is how I met Mark. And for anybody, if you're watching this video on either my Frequency Freaks YouTube channel, or if you're watching it, if you're watching it on my Mr. Frequency YouTube channel, or if you're watching this on my Frequency Freaks Facebook page, I welcome you, and I welcome Mark. And I have to say, I probably gave more due diligence to this than anything, because I'm just tired of the hype. I'm just give me something that works, and that's it. So, Mark, I thought I'd introduce you here. Tell me a little bit about your background and how'd you even get involved in this?
Yeah, my background is originally I was a rocket scientist, so I worked on the space shuttle for like 17 years, I think, and then I did a lot of different things. I worked at IMEGA, if you remember the old zip drives, and even owned part of a woman's clothing company. But this particular technology I've known about for about 24 years now. Is when my dog got sick, and she couldn't come up the stairs, and took her to the vet, ended up having arthritis in her spine. And then a veterinarian I know, wasn't my veterinarian, but he's a friend of mine. I told him about it, and he goes, there's a magic machine that can like reverse arthritis if it's frequencies and energy and stuff. And so I looked into that in detail and got ready to take our dog up there, but it was a long drive, and she ended up getting too sick too fast, unfortunately. But that's how I learned about the technology. And I just did get obsessed with it, but I just studied it kind of on and off. And probably about 7, 8 years ago, I dove into it full time, pretty much. And it just kind of frustrated me because I could see, and you mentioned it, something affordable. The devices are out there, and I'm skeptical. I'm a rock scientist. It's like any of this can't be real stuff. I mean, but there's enough data out there that says there's something there. So, but what frustrated me when I was going with that thought is that machines are too expensive and they're being held hostage in clinical environments. And it's like, I'm not an electrical engineer, but I know you could make something that's frequency generator that could do these programs. So started off very naively, hired a couple engineers to help me. We burned up a few things, got things on fire, didn't work. The coil ended up being, a little harder than I thought. But ended up landing after ricocheting around is it's basically an MP3 player, and the files are actually songs. They're MP3s. And so it's an MP3 player, essentially, that doesn't have a speaker, it has a coil. But the songs are, the protocols are actually MP3s that are driving through that coil to make the magnetic field. So that's how I got involved into it. We built an early prototype that worked great therapeutically, but you had a Bluetooth connection to your phone, and people just really struggle with Bluetooth. So ended up saying, I got to make a standalone device that is super easy to use, has no apps, nothing to download, nothing to upgrade, nothing to program, just alphabetically, there they are, hit play, put it in your pocket or wherever the land around your neck. So that's where we're at today with it. So, and not 100% doesn't work for everyone, but it's ridiculous how high the percentage is. It's got to be careful what I say, but 90 to 95% success rate with most of the protocols.
And no subscriber fee each month, which
yeah, what's weird is I started off because a monthly subscription fee every company in the world loves because it's recurring revenue, and every consumer hates it. And I spent 2 years building that. And I'm like, you know what? Customers hate that. I don't like it. When I subscribe to something for a year, I put on my calendar, check this a year from now, and see if you're still
Right.
using it. And so I ended up scrapping that whole part, because the other thing was, anyone that's in this price range, not anyone, but the majority of devices in a price range, you got to look for that trick, because it's usually $30 a month on top of the purchase price. So that's why I just got rid of it, to simplify it. So yeah, it makes sense from a company's point of view, but not from a consumer's point of view. Nobody likes it.
How is, other than the fact that it's small and less expensive, how has PEMF advanced? I mean, PEMF is not new,
No,
but
it's not.
how is this advanced compared to something that was out and still out maybe 10 years ago, 20 years ago? I mean, could you say that it's advanced?
Yeah, I would, from the standpoint of going back 3,500 years to static magnets, right? It's been forever, lodestones and stuff, and it was discovered 60, 70 years ago that pulse electromagnetic fields are more therapeutic, much more therapeutic than a static magnet. So that was kind of the evolution. And then you get into which frequencies for what. Well, and a lot of it's trial and error. And then you get into frequency pairs, and then what's the waveform of what they look like. So like some of the earlier mats were sine waves. They're still out there. But it's been shown with most studies that a sawtooth wave or a sine wave or a square wave, and in my case, it's a ramped square wave, seems to be more effective at tackling the condition. So there's been that advancement. How do you make it faster, better, cheaper, and smaller? Is things are smaller, right? That's where electronics are going. So that's really kind of the form factor, I think, and making it more affordable, right? The parts and pieces. And that's what always bothered me, like I said, is like, those parts and pieces can't cost that much to make. There's got to be an insane markup. And there is in those business models where you got
Sure.
multi stuff and all. So, and especially things like PTSD and depression and anxiety, some of those stuff where you saw it was like a huge success rate, is sickening to think about. 44 suicides a day plus. I mean, military, right? Veterans are 22 a day, first responders 15, 5 medical workers a day, and 2 active duty, roughly, like 44 people. That didn't count in all the civilians and stuff. And it's like, this is criminal to not have something people could afford to try and save people's lives. So every time I get attacked by a Facebook hater or something, I complaining to my wife about it, she'll go, think about the hearts, the thumbs up, the people's lives you just saved, the dog you saved, the horse you saved, that can now ride again, those type of things. So I try and take my mind back to that, but it's can't do it 100% of the time.
Can you address how, and I know you've had a lot of success with PTSD. I think the number was around 250 people. You did your tests or whatever you did. Can you address how that was done?
Yeah. So what you used is just following and dovetailing with the Veterans Administration. They're using what's called a PLC-5. It's just a questionnaire. And that's the gold standard for anxiety, depression, back pain, any ailment, is you're going to self-report before and after, right? So it's a 20 questions, 0 through 4. If you scored 4 and everything, you'd be an 80 is the highest score. The Veterans Administration said anywhere between 31 to 33 means you probably have PTSD. Any intervention, if it's this or a puppy or medication or anything, if it moves your score down 11 points or more, then it's clinically and statistically significant. So that's what we did. We just gave devices out to people, had them do a pre-survey, and then 30 days later they did a post-survey, and we just compared the score. Did it come down, and how much did it come down by? And the success rate is actually PTSD is about 98% now.
Wow.
And that's self-reported by people. And two out of 3 of them are going to be more than the 11 points. Some of them are a lot of them are drastic, like 70 to 12. That's the amount they drop. And it's an interesting psychological phenomena is some people will go, yeah, I don't know if I feel a lot better or not. I'm like, whoa, you went from 70 to 12. You self-reported that. And on a call like this, they'll start crying because they forgot how bad they felt a month ago. And so it's a odd thing. And I've talked to a bunch of psychiatrists and doctors, and they're like, that's true with every intervention therapy. Yeah, I mean, I have a friend who's a chiropractor I've known since kindergarten. He's like, Mark, I videotape every new customer that comes in because they come in on a walker, right? The next time they come in, they're on a cane. Third time they come in, they got a lap dog. And they're like, well, I could always do this. No, you couldn't. You couldn't even walk a month ago. So that's kind of the negative part is like some people just, it's not negative, but it's not a large enough realization for that whole 98% of the people to go, yes, they just forgot. And I've had people send it back and say it doesn't work and then buy it again. Because like, oh my God, I was feeling a lot better and I forgot how bad it was now. And then people immediately go, oh, so you have to use it forever? No, don't know. I've got a wide range of people who use it every day to people using it. I have 3 people I know of that use it for asthma once a month, and their asthma doesn't bother me anymore. So some of them can go into a once a month maintenance thing. And the best part is though, it's therapy on the go. You put it in your pocket. You're not going to the doctor's office. You're not having to lay on a mat. You're not taking an hour and a half, 2 hours, or 3 hours of your day to travel, do the therapy, and come back. Right? I forget it's in my pocket most of the time.
Right.
In fact, I've done it many times. I go to grab my cell phone, and I pull this out, and I go, "Oh yeah, I forgot I was running a protocol. Don't even remember."
You'd mentioned to me before about this P factor. Is that P quotient, P factor? And the purpose of that, I think, if I recall, is to find out if something might be anecdotal or placebo. Can you address that?
Sure. So the medical world, for whatever reason, wants to do statistics backwards from everybody else. Okay. So everyone else would say there's a 95% probability of such and such with a 90% confidence level. So I'm 95% confident that this happened because of that. And the statistics will tell you that. Your Excel spreadsheet could easily click a button and tell you that. Medical world does it backwards. Instead of 95, they say the negative of that, 0.05. So if there's less than a 5% chance that these results that we just saw were due to chance, you get that? It's just the opposite of, it's saying the same thing. You're 95% confident that this intervention worked. The medical world will say there's less than a 5% chance that it didn't work. There's less than a 5% chance that this wasn't due to just pure chance and not the therapy, if that makes sense. So anything that's below 0.05 in the medical world is statistically significant with a confidence level. That's been the accepted norm, is a P factor of less than 0.05. I think we have, I don't do the math anymore, Harold. It's like 0.000007 for the PTSD study. There's that little of probability that it's due just to placebo or chance. Now, chance, let me take the placebo part out. There still could be a bigger chunk of that that's placebo that you can't measure or sift out of it. But in most of these cases, it doesn't, in my opinion, it doesn't matter. If you're feeling better, the pain's less mentally and physically, and you think it is, and you're acting like, and you're getting out of the house and you're doing activities you didn't do before, do you care if it's how much of it's placebo or how much of it's real? I don't. Yep.
The one thing that I've noticed is we probably have, anybody that buys this probably has one thing that they would like really, really, really want it to help. The problem with that is they might be using the device and it's helping 5 other things that you're not even noticing because you want it to help that one thing. Like with me, I have something that I would really like it to help. And then I noticed after a couple of days, my balance got a lot better, and my balance got really bad the past couple of years. And I'm thinking, what am I doing? I still don't know what frequency I use to help my balance. Maybe you can tell me, I probably have like about 5 different programs that I run. I always run general inflammation, which is probably a good universal frequency to use. I use the brain balance. Maybe the brain balance did that. And then there's a couple other ones I'm still experimenting, but you have to be like my mother. My mother started using it, and I would not call her a doubting Thomas, but I would call her maybe boy, it would be great if this worked or helped. And I've had to talk her into other stuff before, because she's gonna do what the doctor tells her to do,
Right.
regardless. And when she starts using stuff for things I wasn't even thinking about, and she's using it a lot, and she's almost protective of it, then to me that's a positive sign, because I don't think she'd let me take it from her right now.
Okay.
But
Your earlier question about, brain balancing would be one for sure. The chart behind you, right? You got the 5 brainwave movement, delta, theta, alpha, beta, gamma. We have a chart online that's right here under, in fact, you can go to it if you want. The protocols, under protocols, and then I'll go up. The top navigation, the drop down, just look at brainwave expansion protocols.
Yeah.
So there's 59 core protocols in the Vibe. These are 70 other things. You can close Monique. We don't need her right now. She's our AI girl.
Persistent.
She's 85% accurate, so it gets better every day. But yeah, these are 70 things that those 5 frequencies behind you can be repurposed for. And I think dizziness is one of them. I think looks like you went to the core ones. Go back up a minute. Or did I screw up? Go back up to the navigation at the top. Did you click?
Oh, this is the 59. My bad.
Yeah.
I thought I did.
I thought you clicked anyway.
It's taking a minute to get to it. Okay.
Yeah, so like scroll down. I think dizziness is one that's in there.
Which is funny. My mother used this because I told her, my mom's 91, and the other day she called me and said, I got squiggly lines in my eyes. So what do you mean? She goes, it's like it doesn't want to focus or something. Because I had asked you about somebody else, and I know we're not diagnosing anything or whatever, but she told me to try the liver and something else down here. Maybe it was vision. But next thing you know, she's like, let's just say as long as some of these issues are reasonably contained, we get to a certain age, we're all like old cars, you can crank them up and you can get them going, but you kind of ignore the warning lights and stuff like that. As long as you can get from A to B and back to A, we just ignore the warning lights on it. So, what's your ultimate vision with this?
Try and help as many people as I can, right? I wish, especially like military and PTSD, I wish some rich guy give us a big grant and we just give them all to servicemen for free. Actually, we have a 2-star general at the Pentagon that's playing with it. We're doing some studies. His comment was, this really works for PTSD, and it does. This should be standard issue for all military personnel. Right? Something like that happen would be a personal home run, not financially, just that, oh my God, you made that big of an impact, right? So just trying to get enough people to just try it, and get more people, less people calling me scam artists, right? Because I still don't know how I'm a scam artist when I have a money back guarantee.
Right.
Nobody out there has one that didn't work for them, that they didn't get their money back. But there's that, and just the technology. This is pulse electromagnetic fields, but it's energy transfer. The energy could be pulse electromagnetic fields, could be electrical current, could be light, could be sound, it could be vibration. Ultimately, my dream is to use smart bulbs and just have an app on your phone that says run dizziness in the kitchen, and the frequencies are ran through those lights. And now everyone that's got small bulbs, which is 80% of the country, right, has got those bulbs, and 100% have a phone. So that gets it even faster, better, cheaper, right? You could have a $5 app, I don't know, that everyone could have access to this.
Right.
Something like that. And right now, I don't even want to say this because then people will hold off on it. But right now I'm designing a watch. It's actually a watch. And hopefully it's a conversation starter, says, hey, that's a cool looking watch. It's a little
That's
funky
a
looking.
big
Well, it's a
thing right
watch.
now. That's just
Yeah.
everybody's designing a wearable for something.
A wearable for watch, and it will double as a dog collar, and it'll double as a horse collar. Also, I'll show you real quick. Because this technology is very well known in the horse industry. But they're big, expensive machines that the veterinarian has to run.
Mhm.
This one is just basically a cell phone holder with an extension. So it's a thing called an EquiFit band for horses. And you just put it around their neck. We've only had that out for 2.5 weeks, and we're getting tons of. I've sold more of those in that amount of time than anything, even my 2-packs and stuff, because people are in that environment. Most horse owners are aware of that technology.
Right. Yes, because I could remember
people.
blankets and stuff like that, and it
Right.
was good that it helped, but it was huge and it was expensive.
Yeah, it's like, a couple $100 each visit time the vet comes out, and you buy this once and you treat
Right.
it yourself. So we're getting some more data on that and testing it, and everyone's like,
Plus,
I
you
got
won't
vet.
have a horse busting your chops that it doesn't work.
Yeah. There you go. And I think from people getting this argument is like, just start with humans. How could this actually have full body coverage like a Mac? Because the magnetic field by itself doesn't travel that far. It doesn't.
Right.
But we got too many cases of people putting it here and their gout in their foot disappears, or the broken ankle heals faster. How is that possible? I believe it's 3 things. One, it's resonating with the water in your body, the water solution, because there's a lot of lipids and ions, and right. And the clue there is if you're not hydrated, it doesn't work quite as well. So you need to be hydrated. But number one is resonating with the water in your body, like throwing a pebble in a pond, right? The energy's at one spot, but it's moving through with a wave. The second one is, if you remember from my high school class, any alternating magnetic current is going to make an alternating electrical current, and vice versa. And your body's electrically conductive. It's got pretty high resistance. I think your skin's like 200,000 ohms, maybe off by that, but it's going to travel some from electricals. And my third theory that I haven't been attacked yet on this, but I know it's coming, is magnetite that's in your cells. It's what we've known for a long time. We believe that that's what birds use for migration. They've got a lot of it in their brain. They're using your Earth's compass to migrate. It's been shown we have it in human cells, not high concentration because it's hard to find it. But if that's there, everyone knows you take a magnet, stick a magnet to magnet, that's going to travel, right?
Right.
You're going to stick stuff. So I think it's those 3 things. It's resonating with the water in your body, electrical conductivity of organs in the skin, and then possibly magnetite is what's helping it transfer. But you see the results, right? It's with PTSD, great example. That's in every part of your body, every part of your brain, every organ. Where are you going to put it? Doesn't matter. Okay, just put it in your pocket or the lanyard, and we're not seeing a difference in results, whether it's a lanyard or a pocket or whatever, for things like PTSD. When it's direct pain, like arthritis in your wrist or your knee or back pain, it seems to work a little better to put it closer, which would make some sense. So back pain, just stick it between your underwear and your pant line, right? Or what I saw somebody doing the other day, they already hacked the horse thing and just used it as a belt, right? They took the extension, just put it around them for gut issues, right? If you have stomach issues, or just put it like that for your belt. So I maybe shouldn't have called it an EquiFit band because it seems like it has more uses than just a horse. Like I said, we've had it out like a couple of weeks. So
would you find that we don't get to our condition overnight, and we don't get out of it overnight. And in our microwave society, we just expect things, snap a finger. But are you having a lot of people that are really seeing the results, but maybe it's after weeks or maybe even after months, as opposed to the impatient American that wants something in 48 hours?
That's it. It's somewhere in the middle of all that. It's not the guidelines we start off with to start with, and everyone's a little different, but use it 3 to 4 times a week minimum for 30 days. Doesn't have to be several months. If you don't see something like 30 days and it's the wrong protocol you're running, or it's just not going to work for whatever reason.
Right.
And that's coming from the 35 years and 8,000 doctors playing with it, because that's what you would do if you're driving to the clinic. I mean, if you've gone a dozen, 16 times and not seen any result, that treatment isn't working for you. So
right.
That's what started it. Everyone's different, as I said. Some of them you'll see, if you're in chronic pain, you may see something in 30 seconds. I've seen people start to backpedal and make them a little drunk or stoned because your body's releasing a ton of endorphins, right? Tinnitus, that's a tough one. That may take a whole month sometimes before you start to see it. Blood sugar, still collecting data, but if your blood sugar doesn't drop on the first session, it's probably not going to work for you. Now, I don't want to tell people that, I don't have enough data to say that, but that is yet with a lot of confidence, but that's what I'm kind of seeing.
Right.
People are calling me up going, there ain't no way my blood sugar went from 220 to 120, like in a half hour. How is this possible, right? And then I have a few people. It wasn't until 2 weeks ago, Harold, it was 100% with blood sugar coming down. Now I now have a couple people where it hasn't come down. Don't know why, and keep doing it longer term and see if it does. And then, it's not a controlled environment where I'm testing all these people too. It's like people go, well, I don't think it really came down. It's about the same. I get you change your diet. Yeah. Saw it come down a little and I start eating donuts again. Well, okay. So, it's kind of hard to control that environment, right? It's like I tell them that 30 days to prove to yourself it's working. Don't do anything different. That's a good.
Right.
You don't have to exercise more, changing your diet. See if that you play with that one variable. And you already mentioned this about running different protocols. As I got people running it 10 times a day for 10 different things, and like, well, I don't know if it's. I go, well, back off. You already said this. What's the worst one you got? What's the thing that's making your life the most miserable? Run that protocol for a couple weeks and don't change anything else and see if it's working for you. And then the gold standard, as already said, is always subjective VAS, right? It's a vertical analog scale, 0 to 10. Came in as a 9, left as a 2, whether physical pain or mental pain. So that's good. Things like that, like, make anything off this. This is an Inspire Fitbit 3. This is $79. That's why I recommend it over the Oura Ring. It's $500 because it's $80. It's got heart rate variability, which is a super good indicator. It's got sleep, REM, amount of sleep. And those two things are super good biomarkers for anything else that's wrong with you.
Right.
You're getting better with your diabetes, you're getting better with your neck pain, you're sleeping better, and your heart rate variability should go up. It means you're more relaxed, less stressed about whatever. And that's not intuitive. It wasn't to me at all that. You want your heart rate variability to go up, not down. Because people get it confused with heart rate, right? I need my pulse to come down to be healthier. That's a different story. Heart rate variability, and it happens to be the #1 biomarker for PTSD, is did the heart rate variability go up? And then the VA, the Veterans Administration, that is the #1 biomarker they're using for any PTSD studies now.
Interesting. I have to say, see you there? Yeah. I love this device. I mean, and it's not that I didn't like anything else that I've ever had, and I won't even go through a list of the stuff that I've owned in the past. And for me, it was all about pain management, period. If I never had to buy one, that'd be fine with me. But mine was, I've got 9 vertebrae fused, and they've been fused for 51 years. And there have been very few days when I don't have pain. But after a while, they're like a mosquito. You know they're there, they're bugging you, but there's, you can just handle a certain amount. But this is very, very convenient to use. I've given these away to 10 people. 2 of them have yet to try it. 8 of them really like it. But again, they have different issues. You got anything from Parkinson's to MS to, and I'm thinking like, wow, if this helps them on any level, I'm going to be
Right.
very grateful. So, but I appreciate you taking the time to be on this Zoom call. I'm hoping that we can have
Thanks, Rob.
subsequent calls as you find more things that are helpful, or so that I can communicate this to people that might be watching, because there's thousands of people that subscribe to this, to the YouTube channel and to my Frequency Freaks page. And I'm sure the more that this is out there about how successes that people are having, I'm sure there'll be even more. So you'll see in the bottom, I'll put a link to the corporate site, and I'll put a link to my personal. Again, it's not a network marketing deal. I'm not going to be pestering you to get in a deal or whatever. You like it, awesome. It helps you, awesome. If it helps other people and you want to buy some for other people to see, awesome. I didn't get in this because of money. And I'm just thrilled that there's a really good attitude about the whole thing, because sometimes when you get in deals that are all about the money,
Right.
well, let's just say we probably all experienced that on some level, and not really where I want to be. So
Well, I can tell you from my standpoint, it ain't all about the money, because I'm not making any. I don't pay myself a salary. I have no compensation for any of this. I'm just spending my money, my retirement, to develop this stuff and do the research. Literally, I'm 62. Hopefully someday I'll be able to pay myself for doing it. Right now, I don't see that in the near future.
right,
I'm growing, fastest growing PMF company in the world, I think, and I'm just buying inventory and doing more research. And I'm
right.
fine with it. I'm fine with that, because it's the funnest job I've ever had, Harold.
Well, you're helping thousands of people, that's for sure. And that's a rich, rewarding feeling. So,
Thank you. Thank you.
well, thank you so much for spending your time, and I'll post this, and I look forward to following the progress of the company and the device, and your progress. So
All right. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
you bet. Thank you.